So we've got severe clutch drag. So what I've done here, I've just pulled the lever in so I can do this alone. Spin this round. See how it pushes the plates in and they come back out again. In and out. Look. So it looks like something's warped in there. I think that's why it's dragging, possibly. Right, got my 916 hub in there. I'm just turning that around now. It's not pushing those plates in and out. So it appears that this is possibly warped. That. Good morning everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, good night. Not good night, because that means you're going to go to bed, isn't it? Okay, so if you've watched my clutch rebuild video on this 748, the Ducati clutch rebuild video, I'm just going to show you a follow-up to that with a clutch fault video. Alright, and some reasons why you may have a faulty clutch, or dragging clutch, or a slipping clutch. So in the clutch rebuild videos, nothing's wrong in there, everything's correct as it should be, so don't be panicky. Alright, so let's have a look at what we've got on the bench. We've got a few components here. So if you see my clutch rebuild video, you're probably wondering why the hell I've removed this. Well, I removed it because the clutch was dragging. Now, everything, like I said, everything in that video, clutch rebuild video, was correct. So don't worry if you're putting your clutch back together. But there's been a few concerns. The clutch is still dragging. It's dragging quite severely. So when I disassembled this clutch, there's a few things in that video, what I've seen, which sprung to mind, which brought a concern to me. I'm not familiar with. So one of them was the mysterious bearing in the pressure plate, the space in the pressure plate. Don't know what that is. Obviously, the guys put an aftermarket clutch slave cylinder on there to combat a problem, believing that the clutch was dragging. That will solve it, which it didn't. And also, when I removed this hub here, it appeared to be in quite good condition. It's not notched at all. It's just polished on the surface where the plates have been there. It's not notched that. And usually every one of these that I removed from a Ducati or motorbikes, that is notched to hell. So I just removed it, discarded it, put a new one in. No questions asked. But this one, when I removed it, what brought to my concern was the thrust washer, which is in there, sits flush inside this machined slot. Sorry, I got cut off and the phone rang. So if you know your hubs, Ducati hubs, you'll recognise a problem here with this. All right, you know where I'm leading with it. So this here concerned me because my 916 hub has got a steel insert in there, and it's got a raised area here to keep that thrust washer away from this surface. Now, when the clutch was dragging, I disassembled it again. I fitted my 916 hub, and the clutch worked perfectly, absolutely perfect, no problems. Put this back in, same problem, dragging. Right, so I contacted a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, and if you're in the Ducati world, you'll know his name, Ducati John Sellier. Okay, I contacted him and asked him about my concerns. He said, bring this through, we'll take a look at the hub, see what we've got, what we can do with it. Because there's a couple of things, there's another fault in here as well with this. And he told me, when I showed him that, I asked him about this, he said, that's knackered, it's warm. Okay, that should be flat. Basically what's happened, this is probably in since the factory, put it in. This thrust washer has worn it out. So you think about over the years, think about over the years when this is slightly going like this, in and out, it's going to wear and bed down that hub. So on the later models, on the Ducati's later hub design, they put a steel insert in there. That's what he told me. I've not noticed it, because all I've done when I've changed these is just saw a knackered notched hub, get rid of it, put a new one in, not questioned it. I've never ever notice that to be worn like that. So I thought it was some kind of 748E thing when I looked at because of the extended push rod and stuff like that. So what we tried was we built it up and we put 2 washers on there to see if it would help. It helped, but it was still dragging. So I think with a 3rd washer on there, a 3rd one of these thrust washers, it would actually may put it back to as it should be, because this is only like 2.5 mil raised up, whereas you put it onto that one, it's 3 mil raised up, so it needs to be actually higher. Another washer would probably solve that problem. But there's another problem as well. There's 2 problems. One is, if you're desperate, then put another washer on it, but you know what, bin it, get a new one, save your problems. There's another problem as well. So we drilled out that dowel pin there, and you can see there that's squared out. Let me get a pointer. A little brush here is a pointer. You look in here, this area here, it looks like it's flattened off. You see that? I didn't notice it before, but that appears to have, when this has been pressed in with the centre bolt, it's crushed it down. Whereas you look at this one here, perfectly round. Also, the nuts would not, when we tried several centre boss nuts in there, they wouldn't sit properly, and one for my 916, funny enough, just would not sit in there at all. So this is actually knackered, that is actually knackered. So a few things to look out for. I'm now familiar with that. I did question this myself, that's why I contacted John, and also when you're looking, look here, you can see that, try and get the focus on it. If you're looking there, you can see some more of that rim, that edge, which is worn up. When you go around to the other side, sorry, around here, and that edge is barely there, so I think it may have even worn an angle, so when it's going in, it's not actually straight. But yeah, if your clutch's hub is like that, your clutch is dragging, then this is most likely what's causing it. This, I think this will be a rare thing to happen. This to go worn out like that, quite a rare thing, but you just never know, do you? Never know. Right, check it out. I've got our new clutch hub. It's pissing it down outside. We're supposed to be going out for a ride today, but we're not. It's pissing it down. So this has arrived today. It's Saturday morning, and I'm going to fit it. This is the updated one, again with the steel insert in there, so it should last longer. But what I'm going to do now is get my crush drivers and press the hub boss, whatever it's called, in there. Right. Okay. Seat all these in here. Alright, we're all done, so I've pressed this in the vise. I've put it in my vise and just wound that in there just to seat it. And then I've gone to my hydraulic press. Use a 46mm socket just to cover this insert here, and further press that down to get it all nice and level. It just shows me actually now how badly worn this was. I've never come across that. I mean, I've changed these and just put new ones in, you know, not questioned it. But everyone I've come across has worn out to death in here. It's absolutely tooth to hell, like a bloody hacksaw blade. So I just binned them. I've never seen or noticed each one have this wear in it like that. But also, furthermore, to see this worn and damaged all the same, it's quite rare. For my opinion, it's quite rare. But this here would just quite gladly sit in there like that. Whereas the new one, I've had to press that in. I guess you can tell it's new. So, right, we're going to build that onto the back. And you're going to watch me build the clutch again. Alright, so I might have to keep swapping you around different angles here, just so you can see what I'm doing, I can manoeuvre correctly. Even this hub boss thing in the middle, centre in the middle, just feels tighter to get on. Not tighter, but better to get on actually. So we've got our little O-ring washer in there. I'm just trying to pick this up off the floor now. I can't get my hands underneath it. What are we doing? There we go. Right, where's our little centre cap? our centre cap on here, obviously I lined that up with the pin. Lined up nicely. Stick our washer in there. And away we go. Right, 100 foot-pounds. Just make sure that your push rod is pushed through to the other side as well, and make sure your slave cylinder is slackened off or removed before you do this as well. Right, so 100 foot-pounds. £120 foot-pounds. £134 foot-pounds. Oh! Right here, so we've got a 2mm disc in there. Oh, it's a right puzzle, this, isn't it? There we go. I thought it weren't going to fit then. Another 2mm disc in there, followed by a friction disc in there. Our convex disc. Now, my clutch rebuild video before, just remember, if you tune into this one, 1.5mm disc with a hole punch there, just on that tooth where the light's shining now. Okay, the punched hole dot should be facing out, and this is a 1.5mm disc. All right, the third steel disc to go in, then followed by a friction disc, then followed by steel, friction, steel, a friction, and a steel, and a friction. Constant vowel. It's like countdown, isn't it? And you should finish off with a steel disc. And again, just remember the arrow and the slot match up here. I never really asked why that is, but I'll pull it off. My guess, unless someone corrects me why the reason that goes on there is, I think it's just to align these teeth up with the hub. That's what I'm guessing, but I've never really asked anybody why that notch is there, so that's my answer for it. There, see what I mean? Goes on nice like that. Okay, right. So what I do, again, is I just wind down a couple of these so it's just a bit easier to get the other springs on. Come around here and put our beautiful standard slave cylinder back on. Tightening this up, obviously the push rod will want to depress the piston back into the clutch, so I've removed this as well, the caps, so we can get some more return. So I'm just going to operate this lever. That feels, there's not even, that feels perfect, like, you know. I don't know why people complain about how stiff the clutch is. There's nothing wrong with that. That feels loads better. I can hear it working, so I'm just giving that a few squeezes just to work it. What I'm going to do now, there's a cable tie on there. See if we spin free. Oh, we do. And there's no more of this. Let me get a camera. There's no more of this moving in and out. Okay. Remove our tie wrap and make sure that this is where it needs to be. Right, let's fire them up. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that this has solved your problem if you have a severe clutch drag issue on the Ducati. That Ducati now, you can barely feel that going into gear, and it rides out so, well, you can't feel it going into gear, but it actually, it feels so nice and smooth, just like my wife's 740 when I rebuilt the clutch on that. Should be no drag, no slipping. Get that clutch sorted, okay, get the new parts put in there. But thank you to John Sellier for helping me out there, educating me in a few ways. I'm not a Ducati expert. I'm not going to claim to be a Ducati expert. I've just worked on them in the past, done a lot of work. Okay, done valve clearances, I've done top end rebuilds, I've done electrics, belts, stuff like that, basics really. But when it comes to certain parts, what I've seen, when it comes to parts that are worn out, I've just ditched them and put new stuff in there. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.